you mentioned there was a lot of mistakes that you guys made in the very beginning for like the other business owners and things like that. Like, what were some of those mistakes, and if you were to do it differently, how would you?
Yeah. First thing I would do is get a mentor who's already been in the business or is successful in business, right? I would have joined a networking group earlier. We joined the chamber early on, which was huge for us. But I would have joined a hard networking group earlier. I would have joined a mastermind group earlier. Just there's so many different things that you don't know what you don't know. And that's the problem, is you're an expert in widgets. You're an expert in fixing cars. You're an expert in insurance. You're not an expert in people. You're not an expert in human resources or everything else that it takes to run a business, how to read a spreadsheet, how to, read your financials. These are all things that you can't be expected to know. But you need the people that you can trust to help walk you through that. And I think asking for help earlier on is the one thing that I would do differently, for sure. Well,
I don't know if, I didn't have that experience. Like, I fell into Nancy's lap, Venuti, and that was a huge blessing for me. And I can attest for, I'm sure Lawton can speak for himself. I don't need to say it, but he's pretty fortunate with his parents and their business and all that kind of stuff. And you fell into my lap, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. No,
I did indeed.
No, I didn't. No, I think all of us at this table have been very fortunate to have some pretty quality mentors. Not that I'm a mentor to Robin; it's probably more of his wife. And
no, I can give you as a mentor.
Well,
absolutely.
At least in the real estate space, we don't need to get into this right now, but I respect you probably more than you respect me. So
that's probably true.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. But what great advice. We were just talking about that with Tiffany, like in the real estate business, you're not required to do any of that kind of stuff. And it's such you can make or break somebody's life with a mistake in a real estate transaction with how much money's at stake sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's no sort of, there's training and you have to like get a license and do all that kind of stuff, but it needs to be more. Like there's just not enough to it. And we were just talking about that with Tiffany, our broker, about how, there needs to be some sort of mentorship or apprenticeship program or something like that before you can.
It seems to be what I hear coming up a lot, like a lot of people that have become more successful. Well, what would you tell the new person? Get a mentor.
Yeah.
Get some help. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think a lot of businesses start like you and Dave is, hey, what am I good at? That's what I'm going to go do. And you don't even consider everything else that goes into running a business the day to day. And then you just get kind of bogged down in your work and you don't pay attention to those. So we're all lucky in the fact that we had someone, or for me, my parents, come in and we have that mentor already in place and, start off on the right foot. So then how many years were you before you figured out the system?
Well, I think we learned it along the way, right? Like we didn't just have an epiphany one time and go, oh yeah, we know that we need to get mentors. It's like we were struggling. We weren't making any money. And Dave wanted to sign up. He was getting these DVDs or whatever in the mail, and he wanted to sign up for this marketing thing. And I think he paid $400 or $500 for these DVDs he was watching, and then he wanted to go fly somewhere and go to this marketing thing. And I was like, we don't have any money. I don't think you should go. And he's like, no, I've got to go. We got to do something. So I went with him to sit on his wallet so that he didn't spend any money. So we went, we listened.
Sounds like my wife.
And of course, there was all these people up there telling us different marketing programs, and then you could buy this and you could buy that. And then at the end, they had this big thing where it was like $10,000 to join this program. And I spent all of our money because it was worth it. And it changed our lives and it changed our business.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a huge investment for us at the time. I wasn't getting paid. Dave was barely getting paid. We always felt like we were robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? If we took a salary, we felt like we were stealing from the business, and we just spent $10,000. That was huge for us.
Yeah.
Huge emotional investment, just scary as all could be, but it changed our business.
Wow. Yeah. How many years into, you said you didn't take a paycheck for 10 years almost.
Yeah.
Was that year 5 you paid for the marketing, or 7?
It was probably year 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just went right for it.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we didn't have a choice. We were really struggling. And then because of that group, again, it was mastermind and networking and marketing. We learned what it would be like to scale. So an opportunity came up for another business, and there's no way I would have said yes to that had I not been through this group and been able to talk to other people who'd been in the business and been successful and had more than one shop.
So, and that was the shop in Medford.
That's the shop in Medford, yeah.
Okay. So it was an existing business and you bought it.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of story on that one. Dave went to go look at some equipment for a guy, and it was actually closer to White City, technically Central Point. And the guy said, hey, you know, I think you should just come in here, open up, and buy this business. And what had happened to his business was he was fighting cancer. He had a manager in there running the business. While the man was in the hospital fighting cancer, the manager stole his business, changed the name, went from, you know, Technical Automotive to Auto Tech, moved it across town, and just basically took his business out from underneath him.
Oh,
It's not good.
No, it was not good. And I thought, there's no way we can do this. I don't want to take this on. So I had all these things. I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell him I want 6 months free rent, 6 months no payment. I want this. I mean, I had all these things, and he went, okay. And I went, uh-oh. I just got a business that I'm not ready for. Yeah. So I was the service writer, which I have never written service before. Dave was the technician, and I was his assistant. So, you know, hey, come help me pull this gas tank down. I've got gas in my eye. Just blink. Just blink. Oh, no. It was crazy, but we made it work and eventually moved it to Medford.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Baptism by fire.
It was. Yeah.
Or gasoline.
Yeah. Gasoline in the eyeball.
Yeah. Wow, that's wild. I'm curious. You mentioned values, and I've heard time and time again. I don't know what that was that just came out of my throat. Did you guys hear that?
I thought it was me.
It was you. No,
that was my stomach.
Some bubbles in my. Anyway, let's get back on topic here.